This is a fabulous opportunity, the situation that we're in, which is, we're totally locked down. An opportunity for me to make a series of videos that I've always wanted to make. I've always wanted to be able to put together a series of videos that would help students to learn what the HSC is all about. So today I thought that I would make a video that explains, how does a teacher know what to teach? And quite often, quite a lot of you do know that a teacher follows directives from a governing body or a teaching resource or whatever. But anyway, I'll digress. I'm carrying on a little bit. So what do they actually do in as far as what do they teach and how do they know what to teach? Well, if we go to Google, in Australia or in New South Wales, we have what's known as NESA, and everyone knows what NESA is. And what they do is they put out the education standards, right? So this is New South Wales Education Standards Authority, which is NESA, right? And it's a huge website, and it's sometimes a bit difficult to navigate around, but we as teachers are told what to teach in preparation for the big one, obviously the HSC. So I'm just going to show you that I just Googled NESA IPT, Syllabus IPT, and the syllabus is what a teacher follows. What does that actually look like? If you haven't seen one before, they can be quite daunting. So I'm just going to run you through it, and whilst you're experiencing lockdown and you might want to do some extra things, you might want to take a look at this. So let's download the syllabus, and it's available for anyone to get, and you can see that it's 59 pages long, and it has a whole heap of information that is worth reading, but I'm actually going to show you what you really need to know. So teachers need to know all of it. We need to know, what percentages we're going to teach these subjects, and what the percentage of assessments are made up of, and a few other things along the way. But obviously we need to know quite a lot about this sort of stuff, objectives and outcomes. The things that you see usually at the start of an assessment task are written there. And of course, here we have, for example, the preliminary course and what we teach in the prelims. Now, just a quick digression. Prelim is the first 3 terms of Year 11, and you are taught, in a nutshell, you're taught sort of an introductory of the HSC course. And in my experience, Year 11 is like, here's a taste of what we're going to learn. We're going to learn some definitions here, and then we're going to go on and expand your knowledge in the HSC. So we have the prelim course, and there are 2 tables. I'm going to talk about the 2 tables and what they mean shortly, but I'm going to go down to the HSC course, and here is the start of the HSC course. So the start of the HSC course begins in term 4 and of Year 11, and usually by then you have completed a preliminary examination and got your results and had a quick look at your results to see whether or not you're going to continue studying that course, and you've had to make some adult decisions. Now, the HSC course has, obviously, the first one in IPT is project management, but I'm not really going to go into the details of the subject. I'm going to make this really, really generic so that you can apply this in each of the subjects that you study. So you can see that we're now down to page 28, and we're now down to the important stuff, which is what are you going to learn about, and then what are you going to learn to do, right? So both these tables, or both these columns in these tables, are just as important as the other. And what this means for a teacher is that as a teacher, I am ensuring that you are learning from both of these columns. All right, so what that means is sometimes in this area, it's about the definition, and over here is about the demonstration of those definitions. So quite often, this is the syllabus dot points that you see in a textbook, and over here would be the syllabus dot points that you maybe practice or are assessed on, but you can be assessed on both. So don't think, oh well, I only have to learn one of them and don't have to worry about the other. And the word assessment can take many forms, whether it's a presentation or whether it's a report or even an examination. And for me, for example, these first points that you see here are in an assessment task that the student actually has to demonstrate these things like active listening and how would they deal with conflict resolution, negotiation skills and things like that. So you can always walk into a classroom and know where the teacher is up to in the syllabus and what they have to teach you and what they have to guide you through or facilitate the learning of. Now, that can take many forms, whether it's note-taking on these particular things, whether it's, for example, these things you could do in role play. So you could, get into groups and demonstrate how you would deal with conflict, for example, or, how would you use negotiation skills? And maybe your teacher signs you off to say, yep, you have learnt how to do negotiation skills. Or if we go into more detail, for example, if I go to communication systems, which is the start here, we have a little diagram at the start here, and when I teach this part, I actually have that up on the screen and I break it down into, this is the breakdown of the OSI model, and in IPT we use 3 layers of the OSI model, and a teacher has to explain what this all means and what happens in each of those. And when I teach this, I explain that the syllabus doesn't really go into too much detail about this, and the 2 textbooks that we use one goes into detail, the other one barely mentions it, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to mention any names, but I'm pretty sure that you have experienced that before. Now, what would you do if you were stuck in isolation due to a particular virus that said that you weren't allowed to go to school? However, the underlying the elephant in the room is that one day you're going to have to sit a HSC. And how would you prepare for that? Well, if it was up to me, I would get this syllabus. I would then create a Word document and copy and paste all of the dot points, and that would take you quite some time, and certainly you wouldn't do this all at once, but you could create a Word document with all these dot points, and then underneath each of the dot points, I would have a gap, a very reasonably sized gap, so that what you would do is you would put a number of things. You would put, first of all, the explanation in your own words of what that dot point is. Then you might think about what would actually I be questioned on, and maybe provide some examples of some questions, or even where have you had to practice this or demonstrate this. And I would also, if you wanted to, would put 5 boxes. So this is what it would look like if I was to do one. Let's do client server model, right? Oh, hang on. No, we'll go something a little bit more specific about. Okay, so let's do a network topology star. All right, so let's copy that, and we'll go to Microsoft Word. And here's my huge document, and right, network topologies including star. Now, what's the thing about a star? I'd have dot points about the definition of a star topology. I'd have a diagram of a star topology, and then I would have exam question sample, let's say, right? So then maybe what I would then want to do is, all right, I then go, all right, I want to put in a shape which is a square, and I want to go, all right, square like that. Let's make it just a normal square, thank you. Yep, that's fine. There's my square, and then I'm going to copy that square and paste it again. Oops, hang on, I've done this wrong. Let's click off it and put another square there, and you get the point. Now, I'll just show you this. If I say, all right, I want to add some text into there, I can right click and choose the type of font that I want to use. Now, if I go to Windings 2, all right, if I put Windings 2, choose Windings 2 in there. If I hit Shift P, it actually puts, didn't work, why not? Let's change the font to, I want Windings 2. Oh, it did change it. Why are you doing that? Okay, so, hang on, Windings 2. Yep, yes. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, yes, I want it to be Windings 2. Where is Windings 2? Let's go right down the bottom to Windings 2. I don't know how many times I've said Windings 2, probably about 20,000. Windings 2, you'll notice, I'll get this one out of the road, that has become a tick, because Shift P is a tick, Shift O is a cross, Shift P. Now, imagine if you did that, put these in there, these little boxes, if you ticked it 5 times. Now, wouldn't you each time you studied it, you put in a tick in the box, right? And you did that 5 times. Wouldn't you really know that example, right? And the other thing you can do, obviously, is let's go to the exam, because on this page there's all the exams. Look at all the exams. And what we would do is go through every one of those exams and see if we could find a star topology. We would also get a diagram of a star topology. So let's say star topology. All right, and we go, righto. So let's do images. Here is a star topology. There's a pretty good one. Let's open this in a new tab, and we'll just get the star topology. Let's copy that image. We'll go back to our Word document, and we would put that in there. So there's our star topology. And we can do that for all the topologies and all the definitions. This is our dot point here. So, we would dot point that, and then we'd have some information about that. And then each time we would do that. Huge document that would be, a massive one. And it would, you couldn't get this from someone else. As far as studying this goes, if you create your own notes you are better off. And you can do this for every single dot point. You could do it for every single dot point that is on here, and you'll see that maybe it says for this one, diagrammatically represent the topology. So if you learnt those bus, ring, star, hybrid, wireless networks, and then you're able to diagrammatically represent the topology, then you are ticking off what is required of that syllabus dot point. You can do that for every subject. Now, I wouldn't expect you to do that for hours and hours and hours on end. You'd obviously have some work provided by your teachers. But if you were studying and you are this far out from the HSC and you're in total lockdown, this would be something that you could actually chip away at and really have a successful year. I hope that helps.